YouTube. Raptor NLN back with another deck profile here. Sorry I've been gone for a while. Life's kind of just funny that way sometimes with recording and whatnot. But I do have a Buster BLADER Blue Eyes deck profile today. Hopefully you guys enjoy. Like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Anyways, I think this deck is super explosive. Going first, going second. I'm still kind of working out some of the bugs, but I kind of wanted to just showcase what I had so far. There's also a couple other variants that I could profile in the future. If you guys want to see that, I'll probably talk about them during the profile. But anyways, without further ado, let's get started with the main deck. I'll set the side deck and extra deck out of the way kind of here. So starting off, we have only 2 copies of the main Buster BLADER card. I don't have any, I don't have any problems with this ratio. You could run the Destruction Swordsman Buster BLADER. I'm not playing him. You could cut this to 1 and just play the other copy. You could max out on 3 Buster BLADER and the Destruction Swordsman copy, but I just feel like 2 just works for the deck. Because your main combo piece here is to send him off a prologue for your whole combo. So I've basically tried to cut as many engines as possible down to like the pure essence of what you need to play to make it work, and so far I gotta say it's working out pretty well. So only 2 copies. Next, triple Buster Whelp. This is your main searcher of the deck. You want to search prologue as fast as possible, so you want to have access to this card as quick as possible. He is a 1-card combo into your full combo for the Buster Lock, and then 1 Destruction Sword Buster. Only 1, because I feel like you really don't need more than 1. And you could play the Wizard to lock graveyard effects, but I just find that the 1 Buster is plenty fine for what I'm doing here. Next, we'll go into the Blue Eyes engine of the monsters. Playing only 2 copies of Blue Eyes and 1 alternative. I've been playing 1 alternative for a long time, and I still don't disagree with just 1, because you can only summon 1 in a turn, and usually you have access to it when you need it. So I don't disagree with that. I am running 2 copies of Blue Eyes, which is kind of a new thing, and so far I'm really liking it. It seems to clog a lot less with only 2 copies. You could bump it up to 3 if you want, but I just think 2 seems to be working good. Next, I'm playing 1 Jet Dragon, one of the new support cards. This thing is amazing. This thing says, you know, all your other cards cannot be destroyed by card effects, so it protects them when it's on the field. And it can come out when a card is destroyed on the field from your graveyard or hand. So it special summons itself as long as you have a Blue Eyes engrave. And then on top of that, when it battles, you get to compulse a card, not just a monster, a card back to the opponent's hand. So this is really, really good. And of course, its effects are only once per turn, but you know what? It's got to have a downfall somewhere. So 1 Abyss Dragon. I usually like to make him in the end phase, and I'll kind of show you a neat little combo you can do with this. But just 1 of this, I wouldn't recommend any more or less. Honestly, you could cut it too if you want, but I still am finding myself to be a fan of it. 1 of each of the stones. They're both equally vital, but at the same time, like, I guess if you want to put one over the other, I would say the White Stone Legend is a little bit less important now in this build than the Ancients, because you want to send this to grave and then get its effect off during the end phase. So yeah, that's pretty relevant. Next, we're playing triple copies of the Dictator D. He is basically Magician Souls for Blue Eyes, except in my opinion, I think he's a little bit better. As long as you control a Blue Eyes monster, you can redirect your attack targets, which is pretty cool. And then he can special summon Blue Eyes monsters out of your graveyard by discarding a Blue Eyes White Dragon listed card from your hand or Blue Eyes White Dragon. So super, super reliable. Plus, I do like that he can normal or special summon himself, and he can beat over barrier statues with him, because those seem to come up quite often, and they get to be kind of annoying. So next, we are playing a danger package. 1 Bigfoot, 1 Thunderbird, 2 Nessie. I realize this is at 3, and I could potentially bump it up to 3, but right now 2 seems to be working pretty good. Jackalope and Tsunoku. I like Tsunoku because it can beat over barrier statues as well if you need to normal summon it or search it. But ultimately, no matter what, you're getting a monster on the field from this, and then all the rest are kind of just super standard. Make rain gates, pop stuff, search stuff, special summon. This could very well be the invoked package. I'm kind of going back and forth with that at the moment. You know, you can literally play 2 Meltdown, 2 Alistair, and 2 Invocation by taking this out. I just kind of like the speed that sometimes the danger stuff can provide a little bit better. So you can feel free to play around with that. Another engine you could play around with is the Evil Eye engine. If you feel like you want to pop more stuff. Or you could just focus stronger on like a stronger Blue Eyes or Buster Blader portion of it. Kind of up to you, but so far the dangers seem to be working pretty well. So next, for the Chaos Monsters, I play 1 of each Legionnaire and Chaos Dragon of Armageddon. If anything, I would cut the Legionnaire, but honestly, they're both pretty good in different situations. This thing, I love the recyclability that you can just banish one of your dragons and then add it to your hand, which is really cool. So there are times where I can send Buster Whelp to the graveyard and then banish him, say off of like this or another card, and add him back to hand with this, and then normal summon him to get the search. So that's kind of a fun little way to search them out if you had to. And for the last of the monsters, I do play double Gamma Seal. This can be whatever you want it to be. It can be Ash, it can be Droll, it can be all sorts of stuff. I just like this because it's a trade-in target, and you know, 9 times out of 10, your opponent's going to make a big board that, you know, it has like 7 plus negates, and you kind of just need a way to deal with their big boards if you're going to get started with yours. So this seems to work good for me. Plus, it's a special summon if you happen to hard draw into both of them. So pretty good there. Moving on to the spells, I don't play too many spells, but I am playing 1 Dragon Ravine. This is kind of one of those cards, if you see it, you see it. If you don't, you don't. But it just helps dump dragons into the grave. You know, if you hard draw into Prologue, which I've kind of mentioned, basically Prologue then becomes your 1 card or 2 card combo with this to get your plays going. Next, I then play triple copies of Melody. Melody searches literally everything that you could possibly want in the deck for the dragon portion of it. You know, it searches your Jet Dragon, your Alternative Dragon, your Blue Eyes Dragons, your Chaos Dragons. So yeah, so literally just hits everything that you needed to hit in the deck. Triple copies. And then what I really like to do with this card is discard like Nessie or Jackalope and go plus 1 off of it, which is kind of nice. But yeah, I don't think I would ever see myself cutting that card down to 2 or 1. 1 upstart just to dig through the deck as quick as possible. 2 trade-ins. I'm liking trade-in at 2, although you could play it at 3. This could also be triple tactics Talon. I just don't have those, and not to mention, I have noticed in cases where I go first and your opponent doesn't make triple tactics live for you, it can be kind of a brick. So I'd almost say triple trade-in for consistency, but it's kind of up to you there. 1 Dragon Shrine. This single-handedly, I will say right here, is the main combo I like to do with this is send Blue Eyes, send White Sun of Ancients, and then on the end phase, get special summon the Abyss Dragon, and then you can add a Polymerization / Ritual card, which I'm playing Polymerization, and then add a Blue Eyes card, or a level 8 dragon, I should say, which you're going to add Jet Dragon to kind of special summon and react because you've already got a Blue Eyes Engrave. So that's kind of what I like to do with that. But you could also bump this up. I've played it at 2 and 3. 3 is kind of cloggy. 2 is actually really the number you kind of want to be at the same time. There again, kind of just personal choice, up to you. I am probably going to find a way to bump this back up to 2 at least for consistency. But then we're playing 1 Monster Reborn, and then, as I said, 1 Polymerization free extender. Best extender in the game right now, I feel like, so might as well play it at 1. 1 Twin Twister. You could also bump this up to 2, but I find 1 to be working just for those players that still play Mystic Mine or any back row decks. You know, you kind of just have to have an out to some of that stuff in your main deck. And then for the last 3 cards, I will say Destruction Swordsman Fusion. This thing is literally a super poly for the deck, searchable, and you can kind of readjust your hand with it being engraved. So it's kind of nice for all those reasons. Prologue, MVP, trap card of the deck, and Destruction Sword Memories, just because this is kind of your fusion going first. So your object is to get Buster. If you start with Buster Whelp, you summon it, search the prologue, link it away, and then activate prologue on your opponent's turn. Send this, send Buster Blader, and then make your whole combo for that. So, and that's literally just a 1-card combo. So if you draw 4 other cards, 5 other cards, if you're going second, you can do some pretty nutty stuff. But anyways, next we'll go over the extra deck. I am playing 2 copies of the Buster Blader Fusion. I don't feel like 3 is necessary, and I don't feel like 1 is enough. So 2 just seems to be working. I never find myself short, and I never find myself having too many. I kind of like it at 2, so I would recommend 2. 1 Twin Burst, just because it's super easy to pull out. Helps remove monsters from the field, can attack twice. You can make this the new Tyrant Dragon. You can make it whatever you want. If you don't want to play Twin Burst, I just like it. It's kind of a Dragoon out and several other outs. The new card I'm playing, Guardian Chimera. This thing is amazing. So basically, what I didn't understand at first is you have to pop cards to get the draw effect. But basically what he does is you can fuse the 3 monsters with different names. So any 3 monsters with different names, which this deck has so many different named monsters, it's not even funny. So you pretty much just play Polymerization. Even if you brick, you play this, you pop, depending on where you send the materials from. If you send, say, 1 material from the field and 2 from your hand, you get to pop 1 card, draw 2 cards. If you send 2 from the field and 1 from your hand, you get to pop 2, draw 1. Either way, pretty freaking amazing. And while Polymerization's in the grave, he cannot be targeted by card effects, so it's even got a built-in protection effect with 3,300 attack and defense. You're sitting pretty good with that wall right there. So definitely highly recommend that. Next we'll get on to the overlays, which 1 Dingirsu. I don't think I would ever cut this card in this deck. Rank 8s are pretty easy still. So 1 Hope Harbinger, which honestly you could cut this if you wanted to, but I do find it rather nice sometimes. Photon Lord, he's been putting in a lot of work lately. I highly recommend Photon Lord just because he's a monster negate. If you play the invoked package, you could definitely cut these 2 because Makaba kind of takes place of being able to negate spells and monsters pretty easy with this deck. So that is an option, but without them, I would say these 2 are kind of necessary to play. Then I play 1 Galaxy Eyes Prime Photon Lord. This is mainly just to get over high attack, unaffected cards. I know 5-headed Link Dragon or whatever, that thing is kind of annoying when it pops its head out every random chance. But cards like that, I know Ignister plays cards like that you need to just beat over a heavy unaffected monster. So this kind of comes up for that. And then 1 Divine Arsenal Zeus. You could also cut this as well. I'm kind of iffy on it, to be honest, but it does obviously seem to help with clearing boards and stuff, but I don't feel like it really comes up. And most of the time when it does come up, you know, I'm already sitting on probably one of these 3, and I'd rather just sit here with the negate rather than make Zeus. But I can't say it's never come up, it's just kind of rare sometimes. So next, the only synchros I'm playing is 2 Buster Dragon. There again, I feel like 2 is kind of the perfect ratio. You could play 3 I wouldn't even frown upon 3 just because, you know, you kind of burn through these rather fast sometimes. But I will say with Prologue only being at 1 in my deck, 2 seems to work out just fine. So be that as it may. Then for the links, I'm playing 1 Relinquished Anima. You can make this Link Karibo, you can make it Salamangreat Almirage, whichever you prefer. You can play all of those, you can play none of those. But this is just kind of nice to get your Buster Whelp off the field and then potentially steal a monster. And then 1 Protector Whelp, just 1. I do really like the burn effect that he has, so that like if your Buster Blader doesn't attack a monster and they don't have anything in the monster zones, at the end of the battle phase you can just burn them, which the Buster Blader Dragon Fusion cannot attack directly. So it's kind of a nice effect for this that I wasn't really used to it for the longest time. 1 Hulk. I do find him to be very, very relevant, just because you usually pull whatever tuner you're missing out of the deck, whether it be, you know, if you need to add a Blue Eyes from your deck to your hand, you can pull out the Stone of Legend, you can pull out the Stone of Ancients to get your Abyss Dragon combo going, you can pull out the Dragon Buster to lock your opponent out of the extra deck. You pretty much always have a relevant target with this. You don't really use its other effect to special summon a Synchro Monster out of the deck, but that's fine. And then usually I just link it away into this and dump a Destruction Sword card as well. So, but yeah, this still, I feel like this is a super good card. And then last but not least, I am playing 1 Underworld Goddess. I mean, a walking skill drain with a negate, or a graveyard negate, is pretty freaking amazing. Not to mention you get to use your opponent's monster for the link summon of this. So you could replace something in the extra deck with IP Masquerena and make this on your opponent's turn even, which is something I would highly consider doing as well. But there again, I mean, so far it just seems to be kind of working out for me right now with what I got going on. So the one thing I will say about using IP Masquerena is 9 times out of 10 you're gonna have a link monster in your extra monster zone, and IP you can't use a link monster for, so might want to keep that in mind. But other than that, for the side deck, this is definitely the farthest from completion, but I do feel like it's probably about 50-50 50% done, 50% still kind of playing around with. I am playing 2 Nibiru and 1 Gamma Seal on the side deck, just to kind of help deal with big board slash you know, combo decks. You could switch these out for the Ring Dragon or Raw Sphere mode, which is something I think I'm going to do. You can also play Raw if you want to. I'm kind of playing around with that still, but currently I've got this set up. 1 Dragon Spirit of the White, just to help with back row decks. It's an easy side out for your deck, and then you don't really hurt consistency, and you get to kind of search out a way to get rid of spells and traps. So plus its tag out ability is kind of nice sometimes. Triple Ash Blossom, because sometimes you just need to see a hand trap and stop your opponent from playing Yu-Gi-Oh! 2 Twin Twister, 1 Harpy's Feather Duster, mainly just to clear out the back row decks. That's kind of enough said there. I am playing Triple Impermanence for more hand traps. Like I said, you got to stop like the FTK decks and just the decks that really get moving or get rolling, especially if you have to go second. This is definitely more of a like if you know you're gonna go second, I would definitely side in the hand traps going, like if you know your opponent's gonna be like, I need to go first. That's kind of what I like to do there. And then also double evenly matched, just because it's one of the nicest board clearing cards in the game. Anyways, yeah, without further ado, you guys can kind of let me know in the comments what you thought. Sorry I haven't been posting videos for a while. I do plan to get back on that and probably make a few more changes to the deck here. Maybe upload some dual videos of it. Let me know if you guys want to see kind of the other variants of the deck too. I do like the invoked portion in this deck. It's what I was playing for a long time during testing. But anyways, yeah, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.